What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the broader markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, as far as the market's going, NIO is getting bought back up right now after the monstrous down day we saw yesterday. That's some awesome news. I mentioned that if we hold above $6, we could try to push to fill this gap back up to 6.25. But we do have some data coming out that could affect the way the market moves tomorrow and other factors out there. So there was a lot of news that came out about how NIO is raising $1 billion through its share sale. Not the best of news when a company is selling more of its own shares. And this is what caused a lot of downside. But the downside move was very fast, and NIO ended up making a full bounce, at least afterwards. Besides that, Freedom Capital Markets is saying to hold on to your NIO shares, they're not bullish or bearish. And besides that, there's a lot of interesting seasonality, such as the fact that Fridays tend to be green about 53% of the time for NIO. We're also getting closer to NIO Day, which could be beneficial for the share price. But the whole stock market bounced as a result of CPI. All the numbers were basically as expected, pretty much the same as before, except for all items where we start to see slight increases. So for core CPI, which is the burgundy looking line right here, this one was kind of flat. But then for all items, the blue line shows an increase. Not the best of news, at least in that regard, that CPI is going up. But we were expecting a slight increase, and the market's not really phased by this because Jerome Powell said it's going to likely be transitory. And the market is now pricing in that we're going to get a 25 basis point cut. That's most likely what we're going to be seeing. So heading into tomorrow, we basically have no significant earnings, and earnings season is now coming to an end. The market's neutral. We're getting very close to being greed. Momentum is at greed. And other indicators show that we're at greed. But I do believe that based off my AI models, which I'm going to show you guys in another video, and based off what we're seeing right here, we do have a max pain of about 649. We have over 250,000 of these calls expiring and over 640,000 puts expiring. The market may go a little bit higher, and I think that NIO is going to follow the trend. Try to push up to fill this gap tomorrow for 6.25, but then be careful at this trend line. We might push for 6.25, then we'll see if we turn back down to about $6 flat. So keep that in mind, especially as time goes on. As far as SPY is going, SPY is looking a bit more bullish. I do think we go a little bit higher. We could try to touch 658 to 660, but be careful, guys. I'm still telling you to be very careful because, once again, seasonality shows us that the last 2 weeks of September tend to be very bearish. And then when we get to FOMC, if the market already prices in a cut, right, it's going to be very, very probable that the market's going to come down after FOMC. So could we push more? Yes, I think we could get close to 660, but then what happened last week was we kind of like pushed on Thursday, then came down on Friday. So we might push a little bit higher and form a topping candle tomorrow. And then I do think that we're getting ready for a sizable pullback starting next week. I'm going to break down exactly why that is later on, but that's what I'm seeing, a little bit more upside and then some risk. And then on the QQQ, we still have this very nice looking rising wedge. So it does suggest we might go a little higher. And then once we form our top near 585 to 587, then we're going to be looking for a move back down to 575. The IWM is also looking a bit more bullish, favoring 242, and we'll see if we reject or not. We have 237.5 as our potential target, so look for a little bit more upside for the low 240s, and we're looking for a move down. ES also pushed about 6,600. This is going to be a tough resistance. Could go a bit higher, but then be careful in the low 6,600s. I do think we're going to be getting ready for a top soon. NQ is also pushing a bit higher to 24,000. It might reject near there very, very soon. Bitcoin's going to likely try to go up for about 115,000 for a little bit more upside as the market tries to pump a bit more. Tesla's pushing to resistance right here around 368. We need to hold above that. If we do, we're looking for an attempt for 370. I would not be surprised if Tesla goes for 370 to 375 if we go a little bit higher. But be careful. Once we get close to FOMC, things could shift after that. We're at resistance at 368. If we break that, we're looking for 370, then 375, and we'll see if we reject. Nvda pushed quite a bit, but now we're going to be looking for a test of 174 before it tries to bounce, so it might come down a bit. Aapl may also retest 225, and we'll see if we bounce, but I do think it might be coming down as well. Coinbase, although it pushed very nicely, we could retest 326, and we'll see if we reject. Amazon might be dipping to about 227.5, so we'll see if we bounce or not, but it might be coming back down here to 227.5 to 225. Meta has a rejection here. We need to hold above 754. If not, we could be dipping to 744. Google might be looking for essentially 244 as our target, and then Microsoft is also favoring 515 as our target as well. Looking bullish in the after hours, this could also help the market to some extent. The VIX is dipping, it still looks bearish, could be dipping a little bit more, but I do believe that this is going to be forming a bottom soon. We also have kind of like a bearish wedge forming here. It's either a bearish wedge or even like a falling wedge, however you want to interpret this. But very soon, there's going to be a big breakout coming. I think next week. So I'm going to break down exactly why that is later on, like I said. But for now, we're just going to follow the trends in front of us. So for now, NIO in the markets may bounce a little bit higher. NIO could be going for that gap fill, taking us back up to about that 6.25 area tomorrow. Then watch to see if we get some kind of rejection after that. I want to make this video very simple. So thank you all for listening. Look for a little bit more upside tomorrow. We just have some minor data, and we're going to be watching to see if NIO gets rejection. Look for more upside. 6.25 should be coming. We'll see how it reacts from there. Thank you for listening, and peace out.